Hello, this is an impromptu video because I just discovered Sarahah. I think it's pronounced Sarahah. Sarahah. One of my Snapchat followers was telling me how to pronounce it. Sarahah. I also looked on Google Translate. Sarahah. Sarahah. I'm so Midwestern. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the app, Sarahah, basically it is an anonymous messaging app that was launched in February. Sarahah is Arabic for honesty or frankly or explicit. It's, kind of loosely translated to those words about kind of like speaking openly. It is at the top of the App Store, like I said. It was created by a Saudi Arabian developer named Zain Al-Abidin Tawfiq. I'm really bad at pronouncing things, but Zain was his name, and he is a business analyst at an oil company in Saudi Arabia, and he created this app originally with the intention of employees using it at various workplaces to give frank and honest open feedback to their managers without fear of retribution. So obviously that was the intention of the app, but usually a user base, once they take control over the app and start using the app, they kind of determine how the app is actually going to be used and what that behavior is going to look like. And oftentimes the developers haven't really thought through that yet, especially if it's kind of just like a startup app. In Silicon Valley, there's like, the phrase move fast and break things. That, is the mentality going on here. They're not really thinking through exactly how people might use the app or the repercussions of that, the consequences, and don't really have anything in place to address that until it happens. So just like a little history, basically he created this back in 2016, started sharing it with his own friends. Everybody was getting really excited about it. And he wanted to kind of grow the app. He was like, oh, it'd be great to get like 1,000 messages sent. But they were struggling. It wasn't really popular. They reached a couple hundred, but they were kind of like, how are we really gonna like get this popular? So at the time, Zain was reading a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, which I've been meaning to read and I want to read. But basically there's this thing in the book talks about connectors, and connectors are people in different industries and in your friend groups that kind of just know everyone somehow. They just like know the right people. They're very influential. And I guess Gladwell has something in the book about seeding things out through these connectors. So Zain, read that and was like, I should do that. So he found, one of his most influential friends and had the friends start seeding it out into the world. And that's when it really started to pick up. The app started becoming popular in a bunch of different countries. But once it hit Egypt in early 2017, that's when things really kind of took off. That's when they hit 3 million users, and it just kept going and going and going. So he ended up kind of working with a couple other developers to create an English version of the app, which was launched in June, and it really kind of took off with teens who would share their account URL with Sarah on their Instagram stories. So obviously, like if you're not verified in Instagram stories, you can't like swipe out and do anything. So people would just like type it in manually and go find their friends. There was one thing recently that really kind of skyrocketed this app to the top of the App Store, and that is Snapchat's update on July 5th, the link sharing update. Snapchat has a new update where you can now share out links. Kids and teens started just linking out to their Sarahah accounts, so you could literally just swipe up and go immediately to it, and that's when it really started spreading like wildfire. 3 days later, Sarahah was in the top 1,500 apps in the App Store. A couple days after that, it was in the top 100. A couple days after that, it was #1, and it still is to this day, surpassing Facebook, Instagram, all the big boys, like I said. And it's just kind of wild. So I was like, what is this app? I just found out about it. I am so behind. I am so irrelevant, but I am catching up, you guys. I'm only 25. I'm trying, okay? When I first encountered this app, the first thing I thought was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad, because we all know how the internet works when it comes to anonymous. And I'm not talking about like anonymous the group, but just like anonymity on the internet. Like it has a lot of good things about it, but it also has a lot of bad and dangerous and scary things. And so like I'm kind of like gray. I'm not like, oh, we need to not have anonymity on the internet. Like anonymity on the internet is good if it has things in place to kind of make sure that there's not like a bunch of cyberbullying and things like that. And it's often hard to do, but I think anonymity is also what makes the internet really interesting and awesome. But with this app, basically you get an account, you can get your own personal account, and people who come and visit your page are met with just a page of your name, if you put a profile picture, and then a little box, and it says leave a constructive message with a little smiley face. And people can say whatever the heck they want and submit it. So you can have, now there is a setting where you can, as an account person, like as somebody who has an account, you can say if you want people who are not registered to be able to send you messages, or only people who are registered. So basically I have mine wide open right now, so anybody could go and dump whatever they want in my little box and just be evil to me or really nice, I don't know, and I would just get it immediately. I would get a push notification and it would be in my messages section of just people saying whatever they want to me. What could go wrong? So far, like, I haven't gotten anything too shitty, but I also have only shared it with like Snapchat and Instagram stories, which are like my favorite people, you know, like I love my Snapchat people, so I don't think they're gonna be shitty to me. There's been like a little constructive criticism. I want to read you the meanest comment I've gotten so far on Sarahah. It's okay, it's not like mean, it's just, it is constructive criticism. I'm confused by it, but I guess it is constructive criticism. It seems if you're trying a little too hard on your videos. I still love them and support you, but try to relax a bit. I don't get it, because I do try hard on my videos and I want them to be good. I don't want to put out shit. Relax a bit. Do I seem too uptight? I feel like I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to chill, but I want it to be good. Thank you for your feedback. Other than that, like, everything has been really, really sweet, which has been lovely. And I feel spoiled by you guys. You guys are really, honestly, the best. What I worry about is just like the bullying aspect. Like, there's nothing in place to really kind of make this go away, like to make the bullying not happen. It's not like there's any word filtering in place or anything like that, which, you know, places like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook have now enabled for users. I asked you guys on Snapchat and on Instagram stories to leave me anonymous messages in the app Sarahah telling me what you think about it. So let's get into that. We can talk a little bit about the reactions, your thoughts, and just kind of elaborate on that from there. The app is nice. I kind of don't like it because if someone says something rude and it's anonymous, I think about who it could be. And that's something else I think about too. Like, anybody could leave me a message right now. It could be anybody who says something shitty to me and I would have no idea who it was, and I would just be walking around thinking about that. And I might even run into them at work or in a friend group or at a party, and I'd be like, I don't know, like, who knows? You just don't know if anybody who said that to you. So it would kind of drive me insane. So I don't really honestly foresee myself having this app for too long because I could see it driving me nuts. Okay, somebody said, I think that is a pretty cool app to tell someone what you think/feel about them. They won't know who sent it unless you tell them, so that way people can be more honest to each other. And I think, yeah, like, we can be idealists about this app. We can say, you know, it is pretty cool to see what people would say to each other, you know, like if they were just being honest and you know, still had respect for the other person. You know, I don't really see that happening for the most part. There has to be, like, I mean, maybe that's something we could think about. What would it look like for an app to make sure that it was only constructive criticism? Is there something in place, like a filtering system for words or some sort of, I don't know, something like that, where it could potentially filter out negative comments or hurtful comments, and make sure that only constructive criticism goes through? It's really hard to do, though. I mean, obviously we've seen all the other platforms struggle with that, and I would love to, like, hear what you guys think. Like, let's think on this. Like, what is a way that you can make sure that, like, hate doesn't come across in an anonymous messaging app? Because I don't know. In Ireland, where I'm from, this app is just used to talk about people behind their back, and it's used by people like me who are just literally 14, such a confidence killer. So yeah, I feel like that's sad to me. Like yeah, like young kids are going to be experiencing this sort of bullying. It shouldn't be happening. So I wonder, it's like the kind of thing too where it's like, do you just decide not to get the app yourself? Like, you don't want to, like, support that, and you don't want to have to experience that, so you choose not to get the app, maybe. But then you kind of maybe feel left out, because if all of your friends have it and if everyone at your school is talking about it and you're the one person who doesn't have it, I could feel like, you know, there is that sense of being, like, left out. So I understand maybe why people would want to have it, and feel like they have to have it, but maybe we could also talk about what it would look like if everyone just decided, no, we don't like things like that, and we're not going to do that. I think anonymous sites and apps are the worst because it always leads to bullying. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that with Formspring, we've seen that with, you know, other apps I've mentioned, like Yik Yak, Whisper, and Secret, which, like, those all terrify me because, like, yeah, knowing what people honestly think about me, or the idea that people are talking behind my back about something, it, like, would drive me insane. With an app like Yik Yak, I don't even need to have an account for people to just talk shit about me if they want in the same area. So And you know, Yik Yak is now gone, so like that's good at least, because it obviously was like, just like there were so many stories about how it was hurtful in college campuses and at people's high schools, and how some high schools even like just took it off the Wi-Fi. Like you couldn't access Yik Yak on the school's Wi-Fi because of how much hate was happening. But for me, in my opinion, I almost feel like Yik Yak is more hurtful because people can still just be talking about you and you wouldn't know, which obviously can still happen when in like group texts and stuff. But in a place like Yik Yak, it's discoverable, and it's almost sometimes encouraged that if you start seeing that activity happening on the app, you kind of want to join in. And like, ugh. With an app like Sarahah, at least you have to have the app for somebody to send you a message. Like if you don't want to partake in this, you don't have to have an account. So in the app there is these like little like no signs. I think it's just like deleting. I don't know if it's like filtering. You will not receive. Oh, okay, so look at this. You will not receive a message from this user anymore. Are you sure you want to block this user? So that makes me wonder if they know who the IP addresses of the people who sent, or I guess they know the account. Maybe if somebody has an account, then you could block them and you just wouldn't know because it was just like, you know, hidden by the app. But what if somebody, because I have it wide open, anybody can send me a message even if you don't have an account. So do they just block the IP address of that person? Because that person can just switch IP addresses and just message me again. How does that work? I wish there was a little more transparency around that for me to feel a little better about that. There's also a flag button which you can report a message, and I don't know what happens with that either. You know, if that person doesn't have an account and they're just messaging me, is there really anything that can happen if I report this? I don't know. I wonder what brands are gonna do. Like I can only imagine. Obviously in my day-to-day, I work in advertising, I'm a strategist, so I work with a lot of brands who wanna hop on new social media platforms the minute they come out, or not, or they just wait a year and then get in, you know? But I haven't seen any brands on Sarahah yet. It'd be interesting to see what you would do as a brand on Sarahah. You could have people send you messages anonymously and then post them on Twitter and maybe have like a dialogue. I could see somebody like Wendy's or Denny's doing that. Like that feels like the right kind of voice for this app, so maybe they will. Here you go, free idea, you guys have it. Don't know if they're actually going to do anything, but maybe we'll see something over the next couple of days, because you know, brands always trying to put out that fresh content, be culturally relevant, you know, with the teens. So we'll see. One thing that I have been doing on the app, because I'm trying to find like different ways to use it, I want to hack it and play with it and do, you know, whatever. That's always what I do when I first get into apps like this. What I've been doing is just, there's a search feature, and I've just been searching random names and just leaving anonymous, nice messages to strangers. So I'll just like type in like Anna. Let's see other Annas out there. And I'll click on somebody who has a profile picture, because usually those, I mean, I would assume those are the people who are actually like really using the app. So here's Anna, and I'm just gonna say, you are amazing, with a heart, and send it. I gotta think of something more original next time, but that's what I've been doing, because I just wanna like, you know, infiltrate apps like this where everybody says that there's gonna be a lot of bullying, and just be really sweet to people. So I think that that's what we should do. If you want to join in on that, just search people's names and just leave random strangers really nice notes. Let's do it. I think that that's like a great way to be using this app and make it a better positive space. So let me know if you're going to do that down below. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me. I always forget to say this, but please subscribe. I love to gain followers. I mean, I love to gain real followers, like real people like you guys, like you're out there watching. You made it this far. You might as well subscribe, like join the fam, and go leave me a really nice message on Sarahah, or drag me to bits and pieces and make me cry and delete the app. So, you know, whatever you want to do. All right, bye.